get this money from? Money. Man. Money.
What is up, Innovation family? How you guys doing today? It's me, Brandon, your friend, your neighbor, your host, back with another video. Innovation Property Atlanta. Here talking about this Turo game, car rental game, anything that's related to cars and how we can make money. I'm your guy. Before we jump to today's video, guys, remember to like this video, like my channel if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel, refer me out to anybody knows interested in doing rental cars, talking more about vehicles, how we can make money off these vehicles. Hit me up. Today, guys, doing something a little bit different. I'm gonna start getting into the reaction video game and kind of giving my feedback to videos I find interesting that might impact or help or give you some guidance when it comes to your Turo fleet or you want to get in the rental car game, guys. Today's quick video is going to be doing just giving some feedback on my guy who goes by the name of Car Questions Answered on YouTube. He's talking about the crisis we're in as far as the economy, the debt when it comes to these car notes, people not being able to make the car payment and cars getting repoed. So I want to jump in for maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes to kind of talk about this video and we'll break it down and I'll give my input on it. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. Let's find the video. Let's jump in. All right, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's present. Share my screen. Let's see what he's talking about.
On their inventory. Dealers are actually getting their cars repossessed off of their lots. Even on my car lot where we sell $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 cars, we still experience lot rot. Car dealers are getting eat up with interest payments and it's going to cause a lot of them to go under. There are still a large number of brand new 2022 cars sitting all over dealerships.
Why am I showing you a 2022? Because the dealer is still trying to sell this as a new vehicle, even though they have had it on their lot for 526 days.
Interest payments are so high for car dealers that a lot of them can't even afford to pay them.
28% of Ford F-150s on dealer lots right now have been there for more than 4 months.
So one of the biggest problems with these cars sitting on lots for an extreme amount of time is not even really physically connected to the actual car. It's the interest payments that these dealers have to pay when their cars are sitting for a long time and not selling. See, most car dealers, if you don't know, they actually don't own their cars outright. They don't do like me. They don't pay cash for their cars. They actually use something called a floor plan. Now, a floor plan is similar to a credit card that a dealer basically just swipes every time they buy a vehicle. And as they have these vehicles sit on their lot and not being sold, then they have to pay interest on these vehicles every 30 days, every 60 days, every 90 days. And these payments will add up.
So you heard him, guys. So this kind of is the beginning part of the video. He's talking about cars that aren't selling in today's market. I think this video might be a week old, 2 weeks old. So he's saying that a lot of times these big car lots are having cars sitting for GM or Chevy shops because they're so expensive right now. So I did a couple videos when I went to my Dodge dealership about a month ago, just still showing you guys most of these cars are still a little bit above MSRP or at MSRP. So cars really aren't getting cheaper and people aren't able to afford these vehicles and these car payments. So what he's saying is very true. And as far as the overall numbers and the metrics and how many cars are sitting and how many days are sitting on the lots, I'm not for sure about that, but it's good to do research and, you know, follow these people like this guy right here who knows his stuff when it comes to the used car, new car market. Let's jump back in.
Up. And it's a big problem for these dealers that are on floor plans because at a certain point, they really can't lower their prices anymore to try to move these vehicles, really because they get to this tipping point. See, they buy the car for X amount, and then every month they're having to actually put more money into the car because of the lot rot, because of their interest payments that are coming up on their floor plans. So as they're having to lower their prices to try to sell the cars, their actual costs are getting increased. And at some point, those two things are flipped where they're underwater on their car and they still can't sell it. So they really can't lower their price up until just this X amount, because at that point they have to pay the difference. Again, this is on money that they do not have. They have to pay the difference, come up with it, or they're going to lose their floor plans. So really, a lot of these dealers are stuck between a rock and a hard place where they can't lower their prices anymore to actually get their cars sold because they owe their floor plans so much money that they don't have. But if they don't lower their prices to less than what they have in the car,
They won't sell.
they're never going to move the car. So what are they to do? And a lot of times is what you're seeing as a consumer is they'll really just hold pat on their prices, just holding off for that magical customer to walk in the door and come take this problem off their hands. That customer is never coming, but these dealers can't lower their prices because they can't afford to lower their prices. That's what you're seeing out there on the retail market, is that you're not seeing a lot of these used car dealers actually lower their prices because they're not able to. And eventually, what do we see? Well, we're seeing what is actually happening right now in the wholesale market. Wholesale prices are getting absolutely destroyed because a lot of these dealers are not showing up at the auctions. The reason they're not showing up at the auctions is because they have no more credit to spend, or they know that they're not selling what they've got on their lot right now. They don't want to go into any more debt because they know it's money that they can't recuperate. So they're staying away from auctions. A lot of cars through these auctions are getting no sold, and prices on the wholesale level are absolutely getting hammered. And you have a couple different scenarios that actually play out depending on the size of dealership and whether they're selling new or used cars. See, these new car dealers, they have tons and tons and tons of money on these floor plans. So you're having these car lots that have 300, 400 cars that they are actually flooring. And the average amount, we know the average new car right now is like $50,000. So it's very easy for these to have millions and millions and millions of dollars on their books that they have to actually pay interest on as they're not selling these vehicles. But these big car franchises, these groups that own multiple dealerships, they're backed by a lot of funding. So they have money to actually stomach a lot of this downturn. But used car dealers like me, a lot of them, they don't have the bandwidth, the available credit, the available cash back behind them to actually stomach a downturn like what we're going into right now. So their time frames of when they actually have to move through these cars is much smaller than a lot of these new car dealers, because they have to come up with this money that they really didn't have to begin with. And with each passing 30 days, 60 days that these cars sit on their lots, they have to come up with payments to actually pay down their principal on these loans. And they don't have the money. So in those cases, a lot of times these floor plan companies, these lenders to these smaller car dealers, they'll actually repo their cars. Yes, most of the times you hear of a repossession, it happens from a dealer actually repossessing a car from a customer, or a bank repossessing a car from a consumer. But in this case, the lenders will actually go and they'll repossess the cars off these car lots, and they'll take them to the auction and then they'll dump them. And then at that point, the dealer that had this floor plan is responsible for the difference, because when that dealer, especially now in a downtrending market, that dealer that bought the car 60 days ago, that car is worth way less right now than it was 60 days ago. So they're going to have to come up with the difference. And again, I want to say this is money they didn't have to begin with. So in a lot of these cases, floor plans will actually get greatly decreased. They'll take a big hit to their credit, and they can potentially lose their floor plan. When they lose that floor plan, they're not going to be able to just go out and...
So Innovation family, I apologize. I was having some audio issues, so I'm doing a voiceover here as I'm trying to figure out this whole reaction video setup I have. But takeaway, the final point is, don't be afraid to jump in the market, guys, and buy some cars right now. Every city, every dealer is different. You might find some deals out there. So you go out there and negotiate, be aggressive, and don't be afraid to walk away from these deals if you don't want to take them. If you got some old inventory, you need new cars, now might be the new time to get some fresh inventory and start over fresh for 2024. I myself, I'm looking to get some new vehicles too and get rid of some of my older vehicles. The great thing about my fleet, though, is most of my cars, I have equity in them as I pay them down quickly. And got them paid down under 3 years is my goal when it comes to these cars. I don't want to finance for 48 or 50 or 60 months. I want to get them paid off as quick as I can, use the revenue from the business and throw it back into cars and double the car payments if I can to get them paid down. So I'm in a good position, guys. So great video. Again, apologize for the audio issues, but you guys don't be afraid to jump in the market and walk away from these deals if they don't make sense from you guys. But we'll do more reaction videos, and I'll provide more my take, my intel, and what I think's going on in the market, and ways I would maneuver if I was you guys, or even myself, on ways I would do some of these deals, guys. So as you see, dealerships have a lot of inventory now. They're having a hard time selling cars with the interest rates, and also with just people not having disposable income. So you guys have a good rest of the day. Thanks for watching.